I'm going to read it as it was written. It says, how do you test drains on a property and in terms of an inspection that needs to be done? The question says, it's not like we let water run for 10 to 15 minutes and see how it accumulates and then runs out the drains. So it goes further and says, so suppose the new tenants move in and the deposit has already been paid out to the old tenants and the drain clogs within 1 or 2 weeks. Who will be responsible for this, the owner or the new tenant? Bruno?
It's too difficult to prove. Look, I feel that there's a technical component to this question and a legal component to this question, so we need to separate the two. I'm not a drain expert. I don't proclaim to be, so I've got no idea how to test drains and that sort of thing. I'd imagine that there's service providers out there that can possibly insert a scope into a drain and can see if there's any blockages. And, you know, I suppose as a precaution, you could put drain cleaner in and try, clear out the drain every once in a while if this is a recurring issue. So how to test the drain, very difficult. I suppose the suggestion of, you know, pouring water into the drain and seeing if it clogs up would work, except it might be a complete waste of water. So the reality is there's better people out there positioned to answer the question. Now, we need to taking a step back, making certain assumptions. Now, this is a different situation. So from a legal perspective, were a person actually able to prove that there was a clogged drain by the previous tenant? Sure, there could be a cleaning fee just to clear out that drain and get it working again. If on the other hand, it's easier to prove that the new tenant might have caused the clog, then obviously, it's the new tenant. Ultimately, if it was the old tenant, the landlord would still be responsible for handing over the property to the new tenant in a working condition. So he would have to clear the drain. So it's simple as that, right? Now, whether this is able to be proved is a completely different story, because drains get clogged. That's the thing. 1 to 2 weeks of a new tenant being on the property does not preclude the drain from getting clogged because of that new tenant. So unless you're literally taking out what the clog was and doing analysis on it to see who the hair belongs to try to determine whether it's from the previous tenant or the new tenant, it's going to be very difficult, because you're going to go to the old guy and it's going to be like, that was 3 weeks ago, man. Anyone could have done that. You're going to go to the new tenant. Oh, but I don't cut my hair, or I don't shed like that. Yeah.
You did say shed, right?
I used to have hair, so I don't know what people with hair actually do now. It's you shed, right? Hair falls out occasionally.
Yeah, this time of the year it's Labrador.
You're getting your winter coat. Exactly, yes. You're getting your winter coat. So yeah, to answer the question, I think from a practical perspective, it's virtually impossible to kind of pinpoint who's responsible for it. But yeah, it's going to be between the landlord and new owner. And now the question is, was the property handed over in a good condition and the drain not clogged? The landlord could argue that that was in fact the case. It was never an issue before up until now. And this does fall as part of one of the maintenance things that a tenant might be responsible for, because he's actively involved with that drain. So it might be damage to the property. But then again, I don't know if it's all that expensive to fix. So like the amount of attention and energy you're going to put into this answer would also depend on how much it costs to throw drain cleaner down and see if that works.
Exactly. That's exactly my feeling about that, Bruno. I mean, if the tenant took occupation and at the time of the entry inspection, no clear damage was recorded to the drain, but the tenant's been living in the property now for a bit. So if the tenant didn't report there's an issue with the drain, I must say I would quite comfortably lay this as a maintenance duty on the tenant, unless you can clearly prove that it was fair wear and tear. So it wasn't a clogged drain, it was the pipes that were worn, and that was causing the problem. Then it's a landlord problem, because then it's fair wear and tear.
Yeah,
So if it was a clogged drain, 1 or 2 weeks, I mean, I don't know about you, but I sometimes have the most amazing ability to clog the drain if I am too lazy to take the air fryer oil outside, if I've done something in the air fryer. And this is the second time on this show that I talk about my air fryer love. And I'm too lazy to go out, and it's cold, and I just let the hot water run it out. You can know it's going to clog, and then you're going to have to find some of the other excuse on why it clogged. So I'll lay that easily on the tenant, unless you can prove it's a fair wear and tear.
Yeah. No, I agree.